Well then, let's see about those dead hours, shall we? Welcome back. To recap last time, though honestly I would much rather not do that, we spent a whole lot of time looking for the true blood of Saint Januarius, only to finally be successful, which then brought about the devastating realization that, yeah, the reason we didn't have it anymore is because I already used it, and then forgot about it. And, yeah, and to congratulate that fact, my earthen vessel then decided that it was going to burst a blood vessel in my nose. So that's how last time went. It is my sincerest hope that this time will go differently. So yes, we have 7 of the remnants already. Yeah, the colors that turn were the one that the blood of Saint Januarius, Yeah, speaking of blood, it's rather ironic. Yeah, this one was the aspect that the true blood gave us, which in hindsight was kind of obvious because the true blood is a GHOUL aspect, and this aspect is about the wheel, which is heart aspect, and this is about the wheel, which is also a heart aspect. And it is also blood red. So, yeah, I had thought initially that this was the aspect we got from the holiest hemolymph, but the hemolymph was actually the one that gave us this. And I have now developed a theory that each of the aspects correspond to one of the principles. So, the color's tidal, the tide, is GHOUL. The moth, or the wood, is of course moth. The flint is forge. The sun in splendor would be, well, either it could be lantern or it could be winter. Though I think it's actually winter because we got the aspect of the sun in splendor from the wolf skull. So, and then the horned axe, knock, and the 7 coils, maybe edge. It's not really clear that the 7 coils was ever edge aspected, but I'm pretty sure we got that one from the Furious memory, which implies edge, so I at least think so, which leaves, well, it leaves 2 aspects. I don't know exactly which ones, but we'll find out, I suppose. And yeah, I was pretty sure that we've made it, or we had made it already to the Tomb of the Shadowless Kings, but looking back on the footage, I'm not actually sure that we have, so yeah, it's a good chance because, you know, it is literally a tomb, so if we're going to find more remnant anywhere, it would be there, right? In the meanwhile, of course, we also still have our decrepitude, though I would like to save that as a sort of grand finale. Yes, I had debated on doing, on starting the work on, or starting a playthrough of Book of Hours right away, but ultimately I decided against it because I would like to start that in its own proper stream, and for that occasion I still want to finish a new thumbnail based on the cover art of Book of Hours. I could actually show that a little bit. I mean, we have the time, realistically. Display capture. Oh wait, no, it's on my... Yeah, anyways, I can maybe show that later. In the meanwhile, sure, let's dream of the peacock door. Let's continue this. We call upon the ring-you who encompasseth. We have enough heart aspect to quell the curse. Probably. Oh yeah, we should. Leo. If this final curse gets us, I would be upset, but I would also... I would be okay with it, nominally. Like... Yeah, that was one of my ideas also. My minion has returned with a trophy. Oh. Ah, okay, it seems... Oh no, okay, no, that was the second wary detective, the less cool Douglas. Now, speaking of which, we are quite hungry, so, let's eat some more graveyard fruit. Once again, my appetite rises, flecked once again with shivers of revulsion. The curse shrivels. Oh, we were really lucky when it comes to the curses this run. Not one of them clung, and I think we've gone through like a solid 10 of them or so. Yes, well, until the next detective comes along, which will be, well, sometime soon, I think. But yeah, for now we have Douglas, a troublemaker. Douglas isn't having any more of it. Time to see what all the fuss is about. If we let him continue on his path, he might eventually become a renegade and then a long in the making, at which point it would be worthwhile recruiting him. We can also recruit him right now, but that's less worth it. There is sometimes something left over which must be buried again, but one can be efficient. Also, I think I read this on the wiki. 𝐿𝐴𝐬𝐵𝐷 is an anagram of zombie, which, man, that that feels very obvious in hindsight, but alright, we could work with his menacing, but that would give us dread, so let's instead talk to Miss Nenya about it. Miss Nenya. A painting of a dark-skinned woman with snow-colored eyes and close-cropped ivory-colored hair. She stands before a small marble tomb overgrown with star jasmine. The painting is signed Jonas B. Munch, 1811. Well, yeah, I think it's mostly just less so parasocial, as it is kind of vaguely non-existent / schizophrenic. Because, like, parasociality implies that the other person is, you know, at least a person and not a, you know, painting, but, well, weirder things have happened. Alright, Worm Museum, Red Church. We go so infrequently to the Red Church. Let us change that. And we are punished! Pretty much immediately. The Peacock Door unsealed. Last night I visited the Red Church, where the Grail conducts its feasts. The light through the stained glass windows was all the spectra of red, and the names of the Grail labored to birth a new desire, which had until today no name at all. I'm sticky with the memory of it, and this morning everything I see is tinted ruby. Fascination. Now, let's see. Right, the curse has indeed shriveled, so no need to worry about that. Right, share a menacing memory with Miss Nenya. Her eyes are watchful. And we've also proven sick, so let us remedy that in the most literal sense. The next season was one of dread, so for now this isn't going to be a problem. Treasures lie before us. Miss Nenya says nothing. Silence pools like shadow between the gallery lamps. Alright, well, maybe it would have been more worth it actually to work with that memory instead of this, but oh well. Treasures lie before us. What remains? We roll the stone aside, and light floods the tomb. Here is the king, dried to papery leather and crumbling bone. He does not move. This one was not immortal. Yeah, we have already feasted on the remains of a long, on the long flakes, which I still can't believe they actually called them flakes. But yeah, I guess now also now we'll also feast on this king, because sure, why not? Now, do we? I'm half tempted, since we won't really get the time for Douglas to become. Although, no, we have a season of ambition coming up, so this will be a good chance to demonstrate. What remains? The shadowless kings were buried only with their most personal treasures. They expected no luxury in the afterlife. Here is the tiny cache of the things this king valued. Let's see, what did he value? Xanthoppic essence. In certain operations of the forge, sunlight is said to overcome moonlight. As we pass from the Meneskate to the Madrugad, this essence was mercury once, but now it's rich gold of a summer afternoon. Pretty. Shame that you can't paint with it then. Can you... yeah, the bitter black salts. I don't know, that somehow seems like it would make more sense as a pigment, but what do I know? Also, labithic grains. Labites are the youngest of the linesmith's servants. When rendered to power, they retain their potency, but not their beauty. Don't think I've heard of them before. And some some static venom, I think. Static venom. From time to time, the mother of ants has also been called the daughter of venoms. This substance opens the body in uncountable places. I can't really... let me zoom in. I think the glass itself has a crack in it, which is a nice little detail. It's a venom so strong in knock that it's breaking the glass it's in. So you should probably only handle this with gloves. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if it was once mercury, maybe we shouldn't paint it with it. But then, counterpoint, this is the 1920s. People are putting asbestos in everything. Also, the important thing, indeed, one more treasure. I will keep what is left of the king to myself. Now, do we want to read something for the last time? Not really a need, is there? Also, not much of a need to explore anymore either. I will keep what is left of the king to myself. Shadowless segments. Did the kings ever know true glory? Oh, what are those marks on the bone? Almost looks like the bone flute, but I think Those aren't holes, those are just markings. Yeah, I mean, I think there are actually poisons like that, that make you, basically make you die from internal hemorrhaging by, I don't know exactly what they do, but I think they dissolve your blood vessels, which, yeah, that's a very, very uncomfortable way to go. Also, it seems like, oh, do rivals just not get to act in the GHOUL Legacy because of this? Because usually this pulls the rival before it pulls the dedication, but I guess not in this case. So we'll grow a bit hungrier still. So now let's get to feasting, one by one. The hunger that grows in dark earth, the taste, the particular taste, the taste which is neither fair nor foul, it comes to trouble my mouth again. My tongue will swell, my lips will blacken, the elixir has set its spores within me, and only dead flesh can quell them. Alright, oh yeah, these will probably be able to be used together. Though, no they won't, because that Season of Dread is rolling around before I can use this, so let's... Actually, since we don't need to explore anymore, let's go to the 𝐬𝐽𝐬𝐬 Club. Like in the good old days. Allure at the 𝐬𝐽𝐬𝐬 Club. In tonight's performance, Amethyst, a net-wielding hunter, pursues a veil-winged woman through a murmuring maze of leaf-clad dancers. Each movement is underwater slow. Huh. Amethyst, you say? Now, is that the Amethyst Imago? Or, you know, a recreation of that legend or story? I mean, we don't really know if it's a true... It's framed, I think, in the books about the Amethyst Imago, it's framed as a... as a story someone wrote in one night, but at the same time, it's presented as if it were something that actually happened. So, who knows? Alright, now let's get to feasting. Shadowless segment. Feast upon a remnant. If I could only boil it until it was soft. Yeah, that's not really going to work with bones, I think. But I mean, this is by far not the first time we've eaten bones. Also, we have slightly more hunger than we have. We have slightly more hunger than we have stuff right now, but we can also just eat more hemolymph, so it's not a problem. Old unhappy far off things. Moth finds the light in the dark, and so do I. The lights go down very gradually as the performance ends. There is no applause. We each drift into the street, alone with our dream. Oh, goddammit, this is going to decay just before it can be used. Now that is frustrating. Well, it is what it is. We can always visit the club again. But before that, let's sell one of these. I have a memory of something even the king who bore it did not understand. A glorious memory. The sun was warmer once, no brighter, but its touch was a kind of mercy. Paint with this memory to bring it to full awareness. So yeah, this is probably the lantern memory. which would mean that this one is the winter memory. Right then. We dedicate all our passions. A faded pale white gold seen in certain patches of the sky where the mist is clearing, but the sun might be mistaken for the moon. Let's also eat some more of that hemolymph to get rid of the excess hunger, and then lastly, the decrepitude. I had wondered what the taste might be, but chiefly now, my experience is that it is gooey. Okay, we have a ton of potential dread sources right now. So let's quickly get to getting more contentment. A faded pale white gold seen in certain patches of the sky when the mist is clearing, but the sun might be mistaken for the moon. We hold our breath and watch it brighten until each color divides from the next like a new minted alphabet. The egg unhatching. Yes, that was one of the ones we were missing. The last god from stone, I think, because we have the tide. In a night blue mantis haze swims a coral palace or crown. At its foredge it absorbs the lesser names, coating them with its minerals and juices. At its rear edge it expels some of them, polished like jewels. The others go feed its thorny tide heart. We have the seven coiled. On a bed of dunes beneath the red low sun, a monster wrestles itself while attendants crowd around its flanks. It is flabby and huge, the color of dirty sulfur. Fanged tentacle necks wrestle like kittens. It tears cheerfully at its own flesh, and the blood that flows is golden. It flops over in a cataclysm of wattled flesh, crushing a knot of attendants, and the others scream and cheer. We have the flint, the colors of old fire. This is only a stone, though it's smoothed and sharpened to a midnight point. But look closer. Each of its facets shows a single point of light. It might be the glint of firelight. It might be each a different star. We have, of course, the sun in splendor, which is what I first thought might be the lantern aspect, but I think instead then it is the winter aspect. Auroral rose vies with electric blue. There's neither night nor moonlight, morning, but only the hours of noon, anticipated and lingering noon. Ah, okay, now I finally get the sentence structure here. But only the hours of noon anticipated and lingering noon. Now I get it, it's noon anticipated and lingering noon. Okay. That single sentence has confounded me for the longest time now. We each of us open our hearts to the golden needle of the sky. All colors magnified beneath the sun in splendor. The wheel, of course, the colors that turn, with each turn its ciliae pulse and wriggle, and its body flushes translucent to crimson. It might be ugly, but it is beautiful, like the drawing of blood from the labyrinths of glass. It does not cease, and all its involutions are infinite. The wheel. I actually looked it up, and ciliae are basically the sort of hairs single-celled organisms have on their outside to move through liquid. Or it also refers to hairs cells within multicelled organisms have on their sides to facilitate not the movement of it through liquids, but the movement of liquids alongside it. So there's two ways to interpret this. Either the wheel is actually a bacteria, which kind of makes sense as a god from before humanity, or it's you know, a primitive way of pumping blood through ciliae instead of using an actual muscle like a heart. So interesting to think about. Then of course, the last of the gods from stone we've already painted, the only one still alive. The colors of the doubled threshold. When I remember the horned axe, I recall the scent of hawthorn. I recall the purple evening sky, shot with red gold. I recall that her edges dripped where she had lately been at work. A wildering memory. Sometimes we remember what is lost, even when we have forgotten that it is gone. Right, this was the memory of the wood. And now, lastly, feast upon ourselves. So this is what it has come to. I am not dead. I hope that I may be dead enough that this will work as I hope, and unlock those memories that lair in my own flesh. Yep, this is indeed what it has come to. Eating ourselves, like the Ouroboros, but in a decidedly grosser way. Right, more despair yet. Though, at least this despair will get to quell with the fascination. And we are a little richer. Let's squander that wealth right away at the 𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐼𝐬 Club. Alright, now we use this. The doors of vision swing wide. Little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. Oh, finally, the rivalry activated. Rivalry! Here is another who would ascend before me. Independent occultists will try to monopolize the attention of the hours. They may also conduct other schemes, whether you like it or not. So let's see what Douglas is up to. The colors of the horizon. Right, the egg unhatching. The colors of the horizon. A faded pale white gold seen in certain patches of the sky, when the mist is clearing but the sun might be mistaken for the moon. We hold our breath and watch it brighten, until each color divides from the next like a new minted alphabet, the egg unhatching. Ah, okay, so that's the mist here, encroaching upon the image of the aspect. I have a memory which almost seems my own. A honeyed memory. When we walked in the ways of the wood, we were winged and watchful, and we had no need of nectar. I wonder what aspect this one is going to be. I mean, the only one missing would be if we take these 9 things as 9 pieces of... as the 9 principles, then the only thing missing, I suppose, would be secret histories, but this doesn't seem like that. Well, we'll have to wait anyways, until our passion is reignited. A dancer enters from stage left, swathed in red bandages, tight as tendons. She peels one away. Another. 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 This must be a trick. One cannot remove garments so softly that the bones beneath the skin are visible. Bone pink as peach flesh. Organs nestled like grapes. The lights dim, gutter, go out, and the stage's red star with them. All our lips are dry. An awareness of appetite. Each sense is heightened. Every sensation deepened. A second-order influence, apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions, and some minions will leave it lingering when they are destroyed. Alright, so we didn't get the contentment we were hoping for, but there's always next time. Now let's see what Douglas is up to. A scheme to murder a hunter is afoot. A rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. Damn it, now I wish I hadn't killed the wary detective, because it would have been insanely funny to see the wary detective try to kill the wary detective. Now that's Dougception. Yeah, exactly, like... Alright. We just need to wait a little longer for this to finally become available again. Our passion. I don't actually know if we need all our passions, but I would guess so. So, now let's see... Entry, right? Money. Visit the 𝐬𝐬𝐧𝐿 Club. The entrance is lost beneath soft drapes of crimson, cinnabar and incarnadine. There we go. Above the door, the club motto, In girum imus nocte et consumimur igni. It has been rendered as, Into the night's circle we fly, until the fire enjoys us. I suppose that's one translation. The wrong kind of attention. Oh, are we actually going to... Ah, damn it. Damn it. That would have been insanely funny if we got a new detective, and then he was instantly murdered by the detective. Damn it. Nightly pleasures at the cabaret club. The drinks, the songs, the light, the arching walls, the smoke-blue haze, the press and sway of clothed and unclothed flesh. I've purchased pleasure. I reel home in the ungodly hours and collapse into bed. Yeah, no, it's, because we did have notoriety and mystique, I still don't know the difference because I don't think the seasons are called any different, but there's two types of suspicion seasons. One of them just ends if there's no hunter, and the other one has a chance, pulls a new hunter if no new existing one exists, but I don't know, it always seems like a 50-50. So either it's chance-based, or there's actually two different kinds of Season of Suspicion. Would have to look that up on the wiki. The air is curdled now. I'm home again, in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. Well, maybe not for long anymore. We are, after all, nearing our end. There we go. Passion. A honeyed memory. A forgotten color. Our wings unfurled and shining. Our scales lambent as obsidian. Is this about the Carapace Cross? It sounds that way. Maybe then it is Secret Histories. Who knows? Begin a translation of a text. Let's just do this. Not that we'll really need it, but I mean, I always like reading these books. A text of the Sisterhood of the Knot, unearthed by Evan Morphy. A rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. Well, yes, it would be if, you know, there was a hunter, but it's just you, Doug. The colors that will be. Our wings unfurled and shining, our scales lambent as obsidian, our eyes faceted like jewels, our claws unimpeachable dark. Yeah, I think this is about the Carapace Cross. Despair abates, but not entirely, so another visit to the club, please. A wounding consummation at the 𝐬𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐢𝐬𝐬 Club. Tonight the performers pass among the audience, juggling knives or bottles of red glass, bending to bestow whispers or other gifts. A dancer pressed a red glass cup to my mouth. Its lip was sharp. My mouth is bleeding, but the wine within was a strong wine. Wait, are they juggling... Okay, no, they're juggling bottles of red glass. I was about to say, are they juggling filled wine glasses? Because that would be seriously impressive. But no, bottles, and then probably bottles either not filled or filled, and then a glass cup sharpened at its lip. Yeah, I don't think much about the 𝐬𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐢𝐬𝐬 Club is very safe. I mean, it's run by by her, the bright-eyed, unblinking owner of the 𝐬𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐢𝐬𝐬 Club, and you'll notice there's a particular tag missing on her. It's not there. Neither is it on Dr. Ibn Aladim, though it is on all the other patrons. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I think he's along, though I'm not 100% sure about that either. And she, I think, is a Sukoyant, like the ones on Raven Isle. Meaning she has, at one point, committed the crime of the sky. The Morphe Codex, in which a priestess of the Sisterhood of the Knot claims to have discerned the true meaning of the Thunderskin's birth. The writer credits the Red Grail, the Ring-Yu, and the Horned Axe, the powers the Sisterhood reveres, with agreeing a final treaty between the hour of the house. Between the hours of the house and the hours they displaced. The Thunderskin loved the Yu, and the Grail destroyed him, as restitution for the slaying of the Horned Axe's sisters and brothers. But how is that restitution for the Lithomancy? The Thunderskin... Was the Thunderskin at all involved in the Lithomancy? I don't think it was. So... well, who knows? Nine colors hinted. It is almost done. Doves crowd the roof ridge above me. The dusk waits breathless. The colors that will be. Our wings unfurled and shining, our scales lambent as obsidian, our eyes faceted like jewels, our claws unimpeachable dark. Yeah, I think... yeah, this is how the Thunderskin ascended to godhood, though I don't know if the Thunderskin is a god from flesh or a god from blood. I mean, the distinction sometimes seems a bit fuzzy, but... because, you know, Thunderskin was sacrificed, so... oh! Are we getting... no, there's no notoriety! Damn it! If only we could commit some sort of crime. Oh wait, we can hand in a commission. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, yes, yes! Ah, damn it. It's over. Perhaps this was for the best. A scheme to murder Hunter has ended without consequences. Ah, just a little too late. The painting is not a door. These hours are gone. Even their echoes are empty. but I have commemorated them, the one from whom nothing more can be taken, who cannot be deceived, who calls each of the dead by name. That one might be satisfied with the work. 2 notoriety, and the palest painting. 6 were lost, 30 remain. The canvas is not white. Look closely and see the hinted shapes of the hours long lost, walking the winding path to the door into nowhere. Look too closely and find yourself lost to weeping. Aspect, the eulogist's price. The eulogist is the hour from whom nothing more can be taken, and the hour who calls each of the dead by name. Once in a long ever, for a great price, who call one of the dead up out of nowhere, that they may continue, lonely, unscathed, until the date of their own final winter. I think? Yes, yeah, I remember. I thought this was going to be something we were going to, that this wasn't the end game, but I did notice it early on. Yeah, I guess now it's time. All other loose ends are wrapped up. Show Miss Nenya the palest painting. I might feel a little foolish, bringing a painting to show to a painting, but when I turn the street into the gallery, it is snowing, and only in that street. Passers-by huddle, hurry, or exclaim in wonder. I hug the painting close to me, though it is safely wrapped in brown paper, and mount the stairs to Miss Nenya's chamber. An ending, perhaps, in accordance with the principle of winter. If this ends like Poppy's deal, I'm going to be mad, but well. Dog! Wait, no, well, I was going to say we need to make room for Miss Nenya, but I don't think that's going to be relevant anymore. The Thunderskin entered through the peacock door, a privilege never given to the witch and sister. But then their merit was much less. The writer admits that the entry through the peacock door is unseemly, but insists that under the circumstances, there was no other way. I don't really understand what that's supposed to mean. I mean, usually you can't enter through the peacock door, but I don't know what the privilege here referred to means, but we've gained a forbidden epic. Not that I think we're going to use it. Miss Nenya is gone. A dark rectangle marks the empty place where once she hung. I stare about in consternation, but she is not there. There's nothing more to be done. Nothing now, but then I unwrap the palest painting in the silence of my home, and I see that it has changed. A faint shape stands in the doorway to nowhere, looking over its shoulder, waiting for me to follow. The shape has something of Miss Nenya about it. A way back through dream. Some memories are sketch maps of dream. Some even pass through the bounds of dream to the wood and the house that rises above it. Enter the painted door. The house of the sun has many secret doors. They are of course all locked. But tonight Miss Nenya will open this one for me. Beyond that door, the eulogist awaits with winter in his hand. I'm genuinely kind of nervous. So, the person then I think we're wanting to bring back is Miss Nenya, is it? From whom nothing more. Death is down. Beyond the door, a winding stair lit by black nephrite lamps, and far below, the place called Nowhere, where the dead drift down, where nothing is exactly forgotten. Down I go. The eulogist does not offer immortality, but an existence beyond death. The palest painting will draw from me what life is left, but only if I permit it. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. The painting's hunger. The painted door will take everything if I let it. Do not try this at home. God damn it. What is... There's two different Passion Exhausted cards? I didn't know that. Reason dimmed, yeah, of course. So, yeah. One from use and one from... That, I mean... But isn't that the same with Reason? And Reason only has one exhausted state, as does Health. Or, yeah. Okay. Let's also make sure we don't starve to death in the meanwhile. Ah, yeah, okay. That does make sense, I guess, in a way. But it's, like, I understand it, but I still think it's kind of weird that they would make two separate... Because, I mean, Exhausted... This technically would have also worked for that, I think. Maybe... I think it's one of those examples, one of the many examples in this game where there's like vestigial elements left of, I think, where there was the idea at some point to add a new mechanic. So my guess is that Passion Disillusioned and Passion Exhausted originally behaved differently, but that this is a feature that was ultimately scrapped, but the two different states remain nonetheless. That's my guess, at least. Ooh. Wait, well, what do I do now? Okay, I guess I'll have to let the sickness take me. Just like the... Just like the eulogist. Hey doctor, wanna give me a new commission? I guess. Not that I'll need it. You know, if a painting ever demands you do this, you probably shouldn't listen to it, but here we are, I guess. Yeah, I should probably check that out at some point. I mean, I do also dabble in game design, so that would be insightful. Okay, so I guess, since I don't think I can put sickness here, can I? No, I can't, so yeah, I'll just have to allow this to turn to decrepitude. There goes all our passion. The reason is next. More and more. What's the next season? Winter. Yep. Season of silence. Fitting, I suppose. Three to go. Stair lit by that black nephrite lamps. Yeah, that's nowhere, alright. Exactly, yeah. Until we are but bird bone fragments. Okay, so this will turn to decrepitude. Let's, I mean, we might as well, I guess. There goes my reason. And now, lastly, our health. And I mean, let's just do this, because we might as well, right? Decrepitude. Some wounds never quite heal. Untreated injuries and hunger become decrepitude, which does not return to health. Decrepitude remains until we die. Or, you know, we perform Forge's Redemption. And fun fact, you can also work with decrepitude to panhandle, basically. Though I don't think it's ever stated here. Does decrepitude have the job tag? Ah, it has the ability tag, with which, yeah, does mean you can use it to work. Yep. As, like, the Elegiast is stripping of us our health, we're also like biting into our own arm. Like, don't worry, I can help. And lastly, I have a memory which almost seems my own. Which, I mean, originally I thought this was going to be about the Carapace Cross, so before humanity, but the aspect was called the colors that will be, which, you know, implies a memory of the future, which also makes which would also explain why this is an inverted picture. Yeah, that's, because I remember reading, I think it was on the wiki, that, there are, like, prophecies that the Carapace returns one day. So, yeah. Nowhere. I have seen the lost colors, and the price of it is that I am dead and nowhere. But if the eulogist remembers me, perhaps he will call me back into the mansus to walk the world until my appointed end. Well, let's hope so. And there we go. Nothing must be forgotten. Until winter, the eulogist is not the kindest of the hours, but he is never cruel, and he remembers all his promises. He has raised me by the hand and set me shivering in the world, and now I cannot end before my time. I will move among the long of noon and beyond, and I will watch the strivings of the Grail Long and the Lantern Long and the fierce Long of Fire, and I will keep the bounds that are still kept, and all the while I carry the colors of lost hours with me, like a coal of rosy fire. Congratulations on a palest victory. We have wrestled the game to its knees. There are other paths. So, what does this mean? Basically, the way I understand it is we are immortal in the sense that we're invulnerable, but at the same time, we will one day die. Ah yeah, that's also... though... I mean, the text doesn't really mention anything about feasting on corpses, so... Oh god, my alarm. Who knows? So yeah. That was the GHOUL. Honestly, aside from that bit of frustration born from, very ironically, my own lack of memory with the true blood of St. Januarius, this was a really enjoyable DLC, I will say. So let us actually, since I think we have still a bit of time, this was actually pretty exactly 1 hour now, I wanted to share a bit of what I am currently working on, which is the thumbnail for the upcoming playthrough of Book of Hours. Let's see, I will have to migrate all of this to the other screen. And then... how do I do this? 1 second. Is this... no, this is called Simulator. There we go. Now, will this capture properly? It will... not. Or will it? Come now, please. Ah, there we go. Wonderful. So, file, open. There we go. Wonderful. Ta-da. This currently looks a bit unwieldy, but yeah, here is what I am currently working on. The thumbnail for our next stream, hopefully. Which would be, yes, Book of Hours. So, yeah, unsurprisingly, based on the splash screen. And here on the side we can see, although, hold on, that's currently covered a bit by my own likeness. Let's move both myself and you, dear viewers, to the other side. So here we can see my slightly psychotic layer management when it comes to the... what's it now? The mask shards. Let me put on some music. Probably won't finish this today, but... we can at least work a little further on it. So, let's see, where was I? Let's hide all of this. I'm currently on the very tedious task, shall we say, of separating all of the different shards of the mask from one another. So, this one, yeah, this one has been properly separated, so we get rid of it. And now we delete this part of the mask from this remaining thing. We copy that, we paste it, we hide this part, and then now we isolate another part of the mask. There we go. And now that this part is isolated, we lower the opacity, move on to this one. Remove the one we've just isolated, copy it again. Oh yeah, that is very understandable, Earl of Rats. I personally have also, through... I don't know how I did it because I'm usually terrible at it, but I have managed to avoid spoilering myself at all. I've only seen the trailers and like some of the stuff they shared pre-release. I'm going in completely blind, which is something I'm also very excited of, so I wouldn't want to deprive you of that experience. Right, what have I done here? Hide this, then like so, and now... yes, now we have all of the shards of the mask. Ugh. You know, it's moments like these I kind of regret giving myself this particular design, but, well, I think that's pretty much everyone who has designed themselves at any point ever in history having those regrets. Okay, so now that we've isolated all of the shards, I'm going to go about moving them. Though for that I should probably know which one is which. Let's find a good... yeah, this one is a good one to start with. Let's also... for this one I think I'll apply a transparency mask so that we can hide the disparate shards, but it's not really lost. We can toggle them back on for reference later. It's generally good practice to work with masks for this sort of thing. It's a lossless... what's the word? Lossless transformation, other than actually getting rid of it. Yeah, these are all the different shards of the mask, which I want to, you know, isolate so that I can individually move them. Because, let me tell you, it is near impossible to draw these kinds of shards separately from the body. Like, each time I do this, I basically draw the mask wholly, then I draw in the shattering lines, and then I separate the different chunks out. Because that way it actually looks like, you know, like they are actually fitting shards that fit together. Otherwise, yeah, that would be a nightmare. So, yeah, this is absolutely psychotic, this amount of layers. But ultimately I'm going to flatten them down again. Or maybe actually... Maybe I won't actually, because if I don't flatten them down, that would allow me to still move them, which means I could animate the thumbnail, which would be very cool. At least for, you know, I can't animate it obviously for YouTube or such, but for Twitter or similar. Right, okay, so that's that. Then what do we have here? Right, now we can go about, actually, let's do this via transform masks. Let's just kind of go with our gut and move these disparate pieces outwards. Add transform mask. Oh wait, did I add? Oh yeah, that's 2 transform masks on the same layer. We don't want that. For the final, I think, you know, product of this painting, I kind of want to emulate the look of, where is it? The reference image here of the cover itself. So basically, because the way this is done, if you look here, you can see like the clear edges also on the face here. So this is, I'm pretty sure, a vector graphic, or at least it's using vector tools. So instead of using a brush, whoever the artist for this was, used basically a more complicated version of, you know, doing this and then filling out the space. Yeah, that, first of all, we need a good sketch as a basis, so we know what shapes to actually do. Alright, so transform mask. I wish I had gotten this particular part done before the stream, because this is very much one of the more tedious aspects of this particular process. Okay, now I need to be careful to make sure all of the different pieces fit together properly. So what am I currently holding here? This piece goes, where does it go? It goes underneath here, so yeah, here, thereabouts. Yeah, it's this piece, okay. Hide that again. Also hide this to get more clarity. Oh god, where do we fit this piece? This is going to be a bit tricky. Where's this piece from? Oh, it's that... yeah, that's always a bit tricky to... I think we need to move this piece a bit more. Consequently... also this piece... yeah, fitting the different shards together coherently can be a challenge sometimes. Or, well, I say sometimes, most of the time. Yeah, this goes here, then this goes here. Yes, yes, now it's coming together. Wonderful. And now we can kind of, sort of, finagle this one in here. Yeah, that's better, that's better. Transform, which one is this? That one. And now this one here. I do also... the heat has actually gotten a lot better on my part. There was some rain yesterday, I think, and since then, today, the temperature has been very endurable. So let's hope it keeps, but well, we're still in June, so I'm not getting my hopes up. The heat will most likely return. Transform. Okay, so now I also want to kind of preserve here, although it's pretty difficult to do so, is the very rough shape of the eye hole of the mask. So the mask pieces that are adjacent to the eye hole, trying to fit them together in a way that still implies the shape of the eye hole. Like here, it is clearly like fallen apart, the shape, but you can still kind of guess at it. At least there's a big clear space here for the eyes to shine through. Right, so... no, that's a transparency mask. We want a transform mask. Thank you very much. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a finagling act. Going to... okay, this piece here. Yeah, this one is going to move... need to move here, this one there. Yeah, it's kind of coming together now. Alright, now this goes here. Oh, wait. Don't forget the transform mask, because I want to be able to undo this. Okay, yeah, now we kind of... yeah, we have something workable here. Now if I turn back the opacity and all of this... probably should have done that first, but oh well. What have I done now? Wait, probably can do this in bulk. No, I can't. Oh. There we go. Almost. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Now we are getting somewhere. So now let's close this group, and we'll hopefully never have to look at it again, or at least not in a long time. Okay. Now, next things next. The body and the eyes, which will now have to be rearranged so they're still kind of visible beneath the mask. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a mess to parse visually. How do I... I think I'm going to actually do something weird here. I'm going to make a new layer, make this like so, and then... what's a good signal color? Purple or blue. And then, shouldn't this... huh? Doesn't this fill with the... Oh, probably need to go to the brush and then... No? Image... Select... How do I... No. Well, anyways, let's just do it like this instead. It's a bit less elegant, but oh well. And then if we activate this... Yeah, there we go. Though... I think we can use a more easily noticeable color. This... Yeah, this is better. Now we can see it clearly. Although, maybe an orange would be better. Which one? I think the... Yeah, I think the purple is more easily seen. So now that we have this, we can easily see where we need to place these eyes so that it may be better visible. So one of these right here. Oh, right. Almost forgot, of course, we're still in this color. I do also want to do some more, you know, regular art streams, doing art for Shard Reach and talking about it. Though I'd have to make a proper schedule for that one of these days. Sometime soon, I promise. Or at least I promise to try my best. Let's put it like that. Okay. So thereabouts would be another good place for an eye. Unfortunately, this main eye is covered extremely well by that particular shard. How do I deal with that? How did I deal with it here? Yeah, well, the different shape of the mask there does, of course, mean that it's less of a problem. How do I deal with this? Good question. Well, if I move all of this a little bit higher up, just like this eye further to here. And then this eye, basically in this space. Could we make that work? It does lose some of its symmetricality, which we nicely have here, but at the same time, asymmetry is also a powerful tool for monster design, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, especially since the whole point here is, of course, asymmetricality. So yeah, if we add the main eye here instead... How would that look? Not too bad, maybe. Would also allow us to move the mouth a bit higher, which... I mean, theoretically, the mouth should emanate from, I think, hereabouts, you know, but now beneath the... what's it? The finger, and then probably curve up to here, I think. Or, well, maybe a little bit lower. Like so, maybe. Yeah, I think that could work. That could work. Though I think I'm going to switch back to, because I thought maybe we could do something with like a more, you know, instead of the teeth here, have a sort of more standard crescent smile without any teeth, just white. But I think that's not as easily readable when it's covered by all of these shard pieces. So I may just revert back to the teeth instead of the smile. Or, you know, a toothy smile, shall we say. Because yeah, this is unfortunately shard pieces central. So a lot of the smile is going to be covered up by the shard pieces. But at the same time, not being able to see it as clearly does also add some ambiguity to the design, which isn't, well, it's a double-edged sword. Ambiguity can work well, but if the design becomes so ambiguous that it becomes unreadable, that's obviously something you want to avoid as well. So yeah, it's, as with all things artistic, it's a balancing act. I think at this point I would probably have to, let's see, probably have to fill in the mask to see how it's going to look properly. Also figure out properly what to do with all these tendrils. I am tempted somewhat to simplify them a little, like I did with the Cultist Sim piece, because of course both games have a very simple art style without too much detail. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out what to do here. But yeah, other than that, I do really like the direction in which this is going. I was worried initially that this pose wasn't going to work too well with my design, but actually it worked surprisingly well. And I'm also very pleased to see that the mask still looks pretty good from different angles, and maybe even a little bit better, which gives me some hope, because I have been in my most delusional and feverish of moments, been toying with the idea of turning my design into a fully rigged Live 2D avatar, which, well, I would have to have a serious grudge against myself before I commit myself to such a torment. But well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day. Because yeah, I did briefly experiment some time ago with Live 2D, and oh my god, that I thought like Blender or Adobe Illustrator was painful to work with. I had no idea. Yeah. So, anyways, I think I am liking the direction this is going, but I think this is the kind of piece that'll make more sense to finish off stream. So I think now's about a good time to wind down. Not very long today, of course, but that was to be expected. 1.5 hours, still, yeah, I would say nothing to scoff at. Let's see, are there any people to raid? I'm not really seeing anyone, so actually, hold on, let me check if maybe no one is currently live in... No, I think... Yeah, the only channel live right now in the category is us, which I should have probably updated once we started painting, but, well, it wasn't for long, so probably wouldn't have been worth it. So, yes, I think at this point we'll wind down. It has been my pleasure to bring to you today this ending of, you know, the winter variety of our GHOUL legacy campaign of Cultist Simulator, and also, at least for the time being, our time with the game. I am very much glad that this was the first game I streamed on this channel, both because it's so near and dear to my heart, and because as a text-based game, it is very convenient because you never have to worry about, oh, what am I going to say next? You can just read the text, and the writing is so good that you don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, anyways, it has been my pleasure to be your host, and if you feel like it, perform the rites of algorithmic appeasement to the gods we all serve. And have a nice night, and safe travels.